Hi guys, let me get adjusted here. Thought I'd try to do a little bit of a live video this morning and see how that works out. I'm not sure if it's going to be upside down or not. I genuinely have no idea. I've never done this before. Surprise, surprise. Hello and welcome. I needed to make a couple of thank you cards and I wanted them to be autumn themed, so I figured what better chance than to break out the new stamp and die lines from Sunny Studios, and I've shown these off in a haul before. We've got the Happy Harvest set. And I just washed my hands. Sorry, my hands are still wet. And we have the Home Sweet Gnome set and the Fall Kiddos set that I wanted to work with today. And I've already taken the liberty of, before I pressed the go live button, I separated all of the dies and also got everything unpackaged so that you wouldn't have to hear the plastic on air. So we'll just set those aside. I'm going to be doing some coloring with my alcohol markers, my Spectrum Noir markers today, so I wanted to use my Spectrum Noir paper, and I just need to look at the computer really quick because I don't know what I'm doing. Seriously, I've never done this before. No idea what I'm doing. I'm just turning on my computer so that I can see the video. And I can see that it is coming up upside down. So I'm really sorry about that. And it's also coming across as backwards. I'm going to see if I can flip my phone over, if that would help. I record on my phone. I'm going to unmount the phone. So pardon my reach here. Hello. Let's see if this would help. Does that help with the view? Let's see. Okay. I just reversed the position of my phone, and that seems to have helped a lot. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't know that it was going to be upside down. Again, sorry. Really new at this. Let me adjust slightly. All right, so I'll show it again just in case you wanted to see the sentiments here and couldn't read them before because it was backwards. This is the Home Sweet Gnome and the Happy Harvest and the Fall Kiddos. And because I'm going to do some coloring with my alcohol markers, I've got some of my Spectrum Noir cardstock that I've already cut down into quarter sheets for easy stamping. And I am making a slight mess right here. I've got my little block in case I need it. And I've got my Tim Holtz stamp platform. This is really really weird watching myself live on the computer while I'm right here. Oops, it came out upside down. So if you're completely new to my channel, obviously I have no idea what I'm doing. But other than that, we just moved last weekend. So a lot of my craft stuff is not in proper order. So there'll be a lot of fumbling and stuff. I thought that I would go I go for about half an hour just working on stuff, and at that point I will pull the plug and I'll show you guys what the end result is. I do need some thank you cards, a couple of thank you cards, and also I need to stamp a second set of images for another project. So I'll be stamping 2 sets of all of the images, and only one of them I'm going to use today. Let's see. Heartfelt wishes. I'm trying to pick what kind of sentiments that I want to work with. I'm not seeing many thank you sentiments. Whatever. I'll worry about the sentiments later, I guess. Let's just get to stamping. And how are you today? I can see that there's someone else watching. I just don't know who it is. It doesn't tell me who it is, so. Oh, hi, Melissa. Thank you. Yeah, they are really cute. I couldn't resist. I normally wouldn't buy all of them. They're just so cute, and I thought that they would all work together very nicely. I love the smell of fresh stamps in the morning. It's actually kind of late morning. It's I don't know where you are, but it's 10:49 here. I had a little bit of a late start today. Had some issues this morning with the getting my daughter out of the house, and my husband was not super helpful. And then I went and I took a shower this morning, and in this new place, the water pressure, I should say the lack of water pressure, it's incredible how lack of water pressure it is. I would never have thought that it was possible to have that lack of water pressure, but it takes a good half an hour just to do like a basic showering, not if you're going to shave your legs or do any exfoliating or anything like that. It's really frustrating, so it feels like you lose half your morning just taking a shower. My husband says that there are alternative shower heads that you can buy that help with that. We just bought this shower head and put it on because the one that was on there before spits at the ceiling. And we didn't want the ceiling tiles to mold out, so we replaced the shower head because the landlord wasn't going to. And now we may have to replace it again because the one that we have just sucks. Good temperature. It's slow to heat up, but good temperature in the shower, and it just we're not used to such a lack of water pressure. I hope that wherever you are crafting along with me. Would I have some feet loose on my craft mat here? What's going on? I don't know. I am using, for my ink today, I'm using some of the My Favorite Things Extreme Black ink, which I have grown to love. And I've replaced some of my other black inks that I would keep in my stash because this one is pretty multi-purpose. It is a little bit slower drying though, so if you're in a hurry, this isn't the right one for you. But I'm going nice and slow. There must be a foot missing or something on my. I'll look at it after I stamp this panel. I have the Tonic Studios glass craft mat right here. Still a couple of spots we're missing. These are brand new stamps, so I'm not surprised in the least at having to ink a couple of times. And I'm making 2 pages of each of these. One of them is going to just stay uncolored, and the other one I'm going to work with today. I'm having some issues right with the little children here in the center. Their coats. Maybe I'm not pressing down hard enough. I am new to the Tonic, the Tim Holtz stamping platform. I just picked it up. Oh gosh, I don't even remember. What, 5 weeks ago maybe? That's much better. And I love it. Let that dry a little bit over here, and I'll just set that aside on my keyboard. Anyway, and I love it, and I did not think that I would. I was using the Hampton Arts, gosh, what was it called? I think just Stamp Platform or something like that. I was using that one. And I liked it very much, and I didn't think that I would ever want something else, but I want to start scrapbooking, so I wanted something a little bit bigger, but without the edges here. Like, you can put huge pieces of paper here because the stamp platform doesn't end. So that's why I decided to go with this one, and I got a really good price on it on Blitsy. There's some sort of, and I don't really know the particulars, but there's some sort of settlement with the creators of the Misty stamp platform and Tim Holtz, where Tonic and Tim Holtz can't sell their stamp platform in the United States anymore. So it would seem that a lot of the vendors, a lot of the merchants that offer the stamp platform are trying to sell them in clearance and get them out of here before it's too late, before they get stuck with inventory they can't even sell in the United States. So if you're interested, I don't even know who has any left because I'm that far out of the loop. with the shopping loop here. Because it's been about 2-3 weeks since my crafting stuff has been packed up. Definitely take a look. I got mine at Blitsy, and I think it was really inexpensive. Probably less than $20, and this is the full-size one. And a lot of people had said that it's too large, the full-size one. I think that it is fantastic. Definitely enjoying the full-size one. As you can see, it's not taking over my whole craft mat here, or my glass mat here. It's only, you know, ooh, that may be a cat hair, sorry. And it's light colored, so I know which cat it was. Yeah, my stamps here. I did finally, just before I started shooting, found my stamp chamois. It was gone. And I also found this morning my nice scissors, which were also gone for a period of time when I was unpacking. Like, I didn't know what had become of them. Those have both fortunately been located, and I still have a couple of things that I haven't been able to find from the crafting area. I do have about a box and a half left to go to unpack completely. One of them I was thinking that I'm just probably not even really going to unpack. I'll just leave it in the box. It's my box of acrylic paints and jelly plate supplies. I may just leave them in there, and then when I'm ready to use those, then I'll pull them out of the box. I think they're all safe in there. Anyway, I hope that what I'm looking for isn't in those boxes somewhere, because then I might not see it again for a while. I did think that I cleaned these pretty thoroughly, but maybe not. I like this little girl with the little girl image with the umbrella. It reminds me of my daughter. It's raining here this morning, and my daughter took her umbrella to school. She loves umbrellas. She's always loved umbrellas since she was a baby. She loves the idea of umbrellas. And she's an umbrella thief. She'll take my umbrella if she can't find her umbrella. I think Amazon has some. I am cut off from Amazon. Amazon is a no-no for me, I'm afraid. I need to finish paying off a credit card after a certain incident. I had Amazon Prime, and I have the Amazon credit card, you know, where you get the rewards points and stuff, and I was getting everything off Prime. Everything. Like pet food and excuse me. I'm going crazy, and before I knew it, I had maxed out the credit card. Oops. Not good. Definitely not good. So that's one of the things that I'm actually working on paying off. So a couple of more bills ahead of it. Okay, so that one is all done, and I did want to take a look at the bottom of my my glass mat real quick. Look at that. It is, I am missing a foot, and that is why it's shaking like that. I wonder if I can, that came off way too easy. Do they all come off super easy? Let's see if that helps with the wobble. You may notice that I have my craft mat on backwards. That is, I am right-handed, but this is just the way that I prefer to work. My computer is right over here and my keyboard, and I didn't like the idea of my wrists going through any paint or anything. I just kind of like the idea of this being my work area. Anyway, so I might have to see if you can buy some more feet to the craft mat. When I went to just went to swap that, it came off way too easy, so that might explain a lot of things. Okay, so we're done with Fall Kiddos. Hi, dollar store hauling crafty gal. How are your dollar store hauls coming along lately? I'm just getting back into YouTube stuff, so I'm embarrassingly a little bit behind on everyone else's channels. The plan is to try to get caught up. We're pulling out Happy Harvest right now. This is my very first live video, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. So welcome. I absolutely love this tree. Love it. I don't know, I probably don't want literally all of the images off this one. I'm not going to go with the smiley faces. Probably not the birds. But definitely the sunflowers. The stump. Absolutely. Sometimes I can't be the only one that like looks at a stamp set and there's too many little pieces. I'm way too lazy for that. Just pull out some big ones here. I may have to do some adjusting. I do love these sunflowers though. Maybe we'll do a second page with just extra sunflowers. It's still on my wish list because I keep forgetting about it and haven't found one for a really good price, but I wanted that that lawn fawn set that has the scarecrows and the sunflowers. I loved that one. And how about the little mushroom too? We'll go with that. Oh, there's 2 little mushrooms. Okay. 2 little mushrooms and an apple. My foot is falling asleep. Awesome. Don't mind me as I complain. Still having issues with that after my spine injury last December. My leg and foot will just randomly fall asleep. Ooh. New stamps. Yeah, I have way too much stuff. I almost embarrassingly have too much stuff. And I did so many destashes before we moved and have so little stuff left, and I donated a bunch of stuff. Just gave it away or sent it in random Happy Meals to people. I have so much stuff. I'm almost embarrassed at the level of stuff that I have. Because we are a family that lives on a budget and just really embarrassed. I think that I'm going to have to do better. Definitely going to have to do better about my craft budgeting in 2019. Or for the rest of this year and then to 2019. There's almost no craft spending now. This is, I live in New Hampshire. And this is my birthday month. And in New Hampshire, in your birthday month is when you have to re-register your vehicle every year. It's basically just like a tax on your vehicle every year that you have to pay. And they very kindly bestow upon you that birthday gift. So we have to do that. And also you're required to have your car pass safety inspections as well every year. So, and what usually happens to us is that the car doesn't pass inspection without like $2,000 worth of work on it. So that will be, unfortunately, what most of my money is going to this month. Plus we just moved. I've been working on a shopping cart from, I think it's at Walmart or Target, just different things that we pop up around the house. Like we need curtains and throw pillows and stuff. I mean, not necessarily like need, like grocery need, but just things that we would like to get for around the house. And I think I'm already up to like $150. Like I am not going to press buy because I don't have the money anyway, but I just can't help it. I think no matter what it is, I'm just a shopper, and it's embarrassing sometimes. But then I'll watch other people's stuff and I'm like, yeah, I'm not anywhere near as bad as that. Oh yeah, thank you. I do try to keep my destashes fair. I want people to want to come back. There's a couple of people that I like to buy destashes from. And it's usually just kind of the lessons that I learned how to run mine. Just the people that don't give you a lot of, bull crap about the stuff. And it's like, all right, pay me and then I ship it. And they ship it fast and there's no excuses or anything. And put it at a fair price so that it moves. I just splattered on myself. That was fantastic. It might almost be time to replace this chamois. I don't mind that it's stained, but I gotta rip in it and the rip keeps getting bigger. Hey, is anybody, I know that you can buy like chamois in the auto department of Walmart or whatever. Has anybody actually tried any of those on their stamps? Because I'd be okay with that. It seems like the stuff designed around more, and I hate to bring gender into it, but you know, male-centric hobbies like the auto department or whatever, all their stuff is always so much cheaper than everything that you can get in your craft department. It's almost so unfair. Even like, let me grab it, I'll show you. The magnets that I use for my stamp and die sets, like you can buy them, sure, at a craft store, like the Derice ones are like $6 for 3 small sheets, but I go into Home Depot and I get these huge packages here. The magnetic vent covers from Frost King. It's a 3-pack. They're 8 by 15 inches, and this whole thing is like $5. And they're huge, and it's the exact same thing that you get from Derice at the craft store. So definitely like thinking outside of the box for different supplies. I'm a really slow crafter, so sorry about that. It really does take me like weeks to finish projects, and I'm terrible. I need to put this up here because I'm having a hard time on the black. But I love it so much. I missed this so much. This is actually the first time that I've had any kind of supplies actually open since the move, and I have missed it so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'll let those dry a little bit. I wanted to just stamp out a couple of more, what are they called? Sunflowers. 2 were not going to be enough. They're just not going to be enough for my projects. Ooh, trying to be conservative with the paper space used. Hi, Teresa. Yes, I am getting settled in a bit. Most of the house is unpacked. Most of the rooms. My daughter's room is all set. The kitchen is all set. I couldn't find for like 3 days the very large box in which we had packed the all of the baking sheets and the frying pans and stuff. Couldn't find the darn thing anywhere, and you'd think that you would. It was like the first thing that you could see because it's this big huge box. It was inadvertently stacked in the hallway, and it had a different smaller box on top of it. So we thought it was all one. It was all part of the same box. So we just didn't realize that was it. So that was kind of the missing link, if you will, for getting the kitchen put together. And the bathroom's almost done. My room's almost done. My daughter's room is done. The living room itself is done. I just have about a box and a half of shit. Shoot, I'm sorry. I swear, sorry. Yeah. I forgot what I was talking about. I smudged. No problem. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Hauling Crafty Gal, every year you have to pay. And it depends on the age of your car. My car, I think, is a 2003, 2004, so it's older, so it costs less. So I think this year it's just about 106 American. I don't know if I'm going to get another. It's about 106 American and I don't know how much it's going to cost to pass inspection. The inspection itself is usually only around 40 or 50 bucks, but then they come back to you with, oh, you know, you need this and this and this and this and this, and or else we're not going to put a sticker on your car, and if there's no inspection sticker on your car, then you can't drive it. So you're pretty much you either have to pay to get those repairs done, or you can't drive your car. And some of us live in rural states and have to have a car because there's no public transportation here. I think last year wasn't too bad. This year we know for sure that my car needs new tires. So it's not just some mechanic saying that we need new tires in order to get the sticker. We really need new tires. Oh, I'll fuel coffee. This is only my second cup of coffee. Have a little sip now while I'm at it. It took me like half an hour to shower this morning, so I lost half my day. I did have this grand fantastic ideas that I was going to be all jacked up on caffeine and doing stuff. My house, like, we just moved in. My house is already trash and needs to be cleaned. Like, I live with slobs. My husband and my daughter are just disgusting, so... And they always have been, so it's not like this is anything new. I'm like, you know, I need to vacuum already. I have to do the floors, and this is all stuff that I just did. My daughter's room is trashed. I go in like every night now to clean it because she's 10, and it's like, it causes me physical pain, all of the mess she leaves, and very frustrating. So it's like if I don't do it myself, it's just not going to get done, and it's almost like I don't have a choice. These little mushrooms are the cutest darn things I've ever seen, in these little gnomes. I'm going to have to squish up a little bit to get the last gnome on here. I don't know if I want the birds or not. I'm not a super huge bird person. I guess birds are alright. We almost killed a crow. We did not kill the crow, but almost killed the crow last week, I think, going to the town dump. Normally they'll eat the, I'm sure you guys have seen all the news stuff about how there's so much dead squirrels this year and yada yada yada. Well, we're no exception. We just have dead squirrels everywhere. So there was this crow eating this squirrel in the middle of the road as we're on the way to the dump, and it didn't move. Normally they'll move out of the way when you get close to them, and it did not move. We actually had to stop the car, and it just sat there and continued to feast on its gross meal. I have something on my stamp. I don't know what it is. It's a little fleck of something. My usual practice is to play some music or have YouTube going or something while I'm working, and I wasn't sure. I'm pretty sure that I can't play music because it would bring in some copyright violations, and I wasn't sure if it was okay to have somebody else's YouTube video playing in the background or whatnot. It seems so quiet. It would be cool if live videos also had like live voice chat, and you could just have a group of people and just chit-chatting, and I'm sure something like that exists. We had that when I was playing World of Warcraft. But that was just voice chat though, not video chat. Alright, one down. I think this is the last one. Yeah, 2 of each. And I'll pick some colors. I'm going to make myself color with my Spectre Noir markers today. I've been having too much fun with Tombos. I have completely neglected the $300 worth of Spectre Noir that I just had to have. So we're going to do a little alcohol marker coloring. I have to fire up the Cricut later. I have a customer from my Etsy shop who purchased a card probably the week before I closed the shop. I had my shop down for vacation because I just obviously can't make cards for people as I'm moving. Anyway, so, and I shipped the order in no problem, and she sent me a message while I was on vacation mode saying that this card never arrived. Is there anything you can do to help? And I looked at it, and I looked at the tracking from the post office, and it said that it was delivered, and if something goes missing, it's kind of a fairly common thing, that not necessarily that it wasn't delivered, but maybe like your husband picked it up and just forgot to tell you where one of your kids did, or it fell behind the car seats or something. Usually somebody in the house, if you ask them, will be like, oh yeah, I did pick that up for you last week. Anyway, so I told her to do that, and I sent her a screenshot of the tracking information, excuse me, where the item, showing that the item had been delivered, and it shows the address, and she said, oh, that's my mother's address, I must have used that at the checkout instead of my own. And it's like, oh shoot, well, there's nothing I can do about it at that point. If somebody uses the wrong address, it's like, well, sorry. And her mom lives in another state, and I said, well, can your mom mail it to you? And she went to check with her mom, and her mom said that she never got it. So like, oh man, what rotten luck that something would be missing like twice at that point. So unfortunately, there was nothing I could do for her at the time, but now that I'm at a point where I can access my desk and I can fire up the Cricut, because the card was made using some of the paper pieced images from the Cricut, I need to remember to send her an email later today. I offer to make her the card again so that she could have some. It might have been, I did suggest it and I never heard back from her, but I just want to confirm that she's all set with my services. But it's normally the sort of thing that I would be able to, I just make something. Look at that, I'm all filthy. Make something for somebody else and make it for somebody and get it right out, a replacement. And I couldn't, and I felt so bad. All my stuff was packed up. Did I do the second one? I did. And I felt so bad, but now that I'm in a position where I can, I hope that she responds and I can help her. It was a really cute card too. Some of these little gnomes look the same. They're so cute. Oh my gosh. So cute. I love fall and all things fall, except I don't like pumpkin spice. That's yucky. But I love all things fall, and I really, really, really hate winter, though. The cold and just the yuck and the winter. So fall always, like, I always dread fall because there's this, like, foreshadowing of gloom ahead, because I know what's coming next. And usually our fall is so short here where we are, because sometimes we get snow as early as mid-October, and then that's it, and then we have snow until June, or maybe less time now because we're not deep in the woods anymore, but usually our snow sticks around in the woods until June. All right, so that's done. Let's get this out of the way. Yeah. I wish that the whole year could be spring or summer and fall, and just, it would be super ideal. And I usually don't mind like the first 2 weeks of winter. I don't really like Christmas either. I know I'm such a terrible person. We're not religious, we're atheists, so Christmas we could come and go, but the lights are very pretty and all of those things. But it always seems to me like you could have this perfect fall where it's like 50 or 60, and then that's it, and then okay, it could snow for a couple of weeks until Christmas, and then that's it. I'm ready for spring at that point. That's it. Okay, so let's, this is for me, not for me, or not for right now anyway, not for me. Right, let me get these aside so that I do not forget the thing that I was going to do with them later. Let me get my Spectrum Noir chart. I am in New Hampshire. I am in Sunapee, New Hampshire, which is sort of like the mid-ish part of the state. Midwestern part, kind of ish. I'm about 2 hours, or maybe more like an hour and 45 minutes north of Massachusetts, and about 45 minutes east of Vermont. Very nice area that we're in. Oh my god. How are your winters in Nebraska? These gnomes are too darn cute. I'm suffering from indecision at this point, which is not uncommon for me. This is another thing that takes me forever to do things. See, I tend to forget that if I don't like something, I could always just restamp it and do it myself, but I keep looking at something like I'm Michelangelo and I need to have everything perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab some colors and get started. I have to stand up. My markers are above and just out of arm's reach. Which is fine for me. I need the exercise anyway. Just grab some browns. I wouldn't even know anything about that. One or two good snowstorms. Like, we have one or two huge snowstorms a week here. It really is very oppressively yucky for someone that doesn't like winter. My husband doesn't like it either. We are definitely very much like Florida bound once our daughter is raised. And I'm just doing some very basic two-color coloring. I'm not a very good colorer. I don't really care. I am part of the Facebook group. I forget what it's called. To take all the classes to color, and I took some of the classes and I was like completely bored after a few minutes. So I decided that that's just not the kind of colorer that I am. And I should say that it doesn't bother me that I'm not very good at it. I still have a lot of fun. I still like this. Oh yeah, I do too. I have an electric lamp that I'll usually keep right by my desk, and I can put it on my legs. I'm not sure what it's going to be like this year in this house for the winter, but in the house that we were in, oh my god, it was so cold. We loved our little cottage, the place that we just moved from. And in fact, that's the reason why we moved, really, is because the winters just pretty unbearable. It's a very old cottage, and the insulation has pretty much gone. So the past couple years has been just really oppressively uncomfortable, just trying to exist, and it costs so much money just to heat the house, and like the pipes still froze and all those things. And our landlords, and we love them to pieces, they're like family, but they're elderly, a brother and a sister, and they just don't have the funds to repair the property, so we had to find somewhere else. So anyway, so this will be our first winter in this apartment, and heat is included here. We have electric baseboard heaters in every room. So we'll see how it goes. There seems to be enough of them that I don't think we're going to be anywhere near as cold. Pretty confident that we're not going to freeze this year like we have in years past in the little cottage. We're still really sad, though. We did not want to leave the cottage. We do get to see it this afternoon, though. We're going to go visit. I'm going to go visit and pick up my mail. I like the Spectrum Noirs. And it appeals to me that they're so much more budget friendly than the Copics. I do have a couple Copics, but the problem that I have with the Spectrum Noirs is that I can't find a one-stop shop source for all of the refills, and that really irritates me. Yeah, this is what I picked for the leaves. Really irritates me. I hate that. Yeah, we would struggle to keep the house just like over 50 degrees last winter. We had space heaters, electric space heaters, and a propane heater, and it cost $700 a month to heat the place last winter. I was still making payments on the propane and the electric up until June or July even. Just absolutely insane. With the space heaters, the electric was cresting $350, and it was close to $400 a month on the propane that we were just burning through, and our pipes still froze. Just absolutely crazy. There's no way that we could afford to do that again. Just no way. We couldn't even afford to do it last year, but we weren't expecting it to be quite as bad because it wasn't the costs weren't quite as bad the year before, and it wasn't until we already had to start getting propane filled up that they kept saying that it was like $4 a gallon or something, and just it's just so unfair that they wait. I don't know. It's really unfair. We're glad to be out of that situation in terms of that, but we do miss the house and we do miss our former landlords. I keep wanting to say landlord, but our former landlords. They are very good friends, and we love them dearly. And the sister, the one that lived right next door to us, she's an older woman, and in fact, she's the mother of one of my closest friends. So that's how I got to meet them. But many years before we even moved into the cottage, that's kind of how we scored the cottage at a deal. But nope, wrong one. Wrong one. Yeah, she's like almost grandmother status to my daughter at this point. So she and my daughter are very close, and my daughter was very upset to potentially leave her. Get my colors backwards here. We're going to see her this afternoon, though. She has some of my mail, and I have to return her casserole dish. She's so sweet. She made us a lasagna when we were moving so that we wouldn't have to cook. Amazing. Amazing lasagna. Really out of practice. My mistakes. Too many mistakes. Let's see. Yeah, I love lasagna. My husband does an amazing lasagna too. I'm not a big meat eater, unless it's tacos or an occasional burger. And this had meat in it, but it was really good. She's a great cook. I can remember going over with my friend Caitlin, that's her mom, and I would come over and visit Caitlin when we were much younger. And her mom would be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna make some dinner. You girls interested?" And she would whip up like this fantastic thing. She even like makes her own salad dressings, and you could just give her a couple of ingredients, and she makes these amazing meals. And I am not remotely like that. I'm like, I have to Pinterest it, and I have to look at it for a month, and there has to be shopping lists involved and planning, and I have to, watch video tutorials and make sure that I'm doing everything in the proper order. And she just throws stuff together, and it's amazing. Even stuff that I didn't traditionally like, she'll make, and I'll like it. Like, I hate cauliflower. And she makes a cauliflower casserole it's really good. We did not turn it down when she said, "Oh, by the way, I have a lasagna in the oven for you." I'll take it. I love these jade greens from Spectrum Noir, the ones that I'm working with right now, this family right here. They're quite beautiful. I have a lot of fun with those. All right. Greens, greens, greens. Let me get the little apple leaves colored. I think, have I gone past the half an hour point? Maybe I should just go till noon. I have plans at noon, so my time I have plans in half an hour, so I can't stay forever, although I am having fun. My lazy way of coloring, I'll go through and make sure that I've got everything on all of the pages that I want it to be in that color before moving on to something else. Nope, 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 nope. Anything else I wanted to have bright green or brown? Making a mess. My color chart, I think came from somewhere on Google. I don't know if it has a, it must have been the Crafter's Companion website. And I messed up the first time I went to do it, so I just flipped it over. My printer ink is not Copic marker friendly safe, so you can see a couple of my colors, it didn't color very well. So this is one of those things I would like to redo it eventually once I get the ink swatch stamp set from, I'm trying to think of the name, the yellow Waffle Flower. They have a fabulous new swatch stamp set, so that's kind of been on my wish list, and I plan to redo everything once I get that, because then I can use my regular ink and I don't have to worry about printer crap and well, Jungle would have been a very valid guess as well for the greens, but yeah, it's Jade Green, JG, and they all kind of stand for something. Oh, and it's right here, duh. It says right on the top what. This is not my first color chart that I've done with Spectrum Noir. I had to redo it when they came out with the two newer sets, sort of expansion sets of colors. Then I had to redo the whole thing, because I can't just have an outdated thing. All right, so we get those aside. Let's do some pumpkins. What do I want for pumpkin? The oranges are quite lacking, I think, in the selection, the variety. And the reds. The oranges and the reds I have such a huge problem with. The grays are lovely, the browns are lovely. The greens are nice. I like the yellows, but the reds and the oranges are just they're not as many as I would like. Let's go with the burnt orange for the pumpkins. I have to stand up again and grab my stuff. Get my accidental exercise. And my squeaky chair. I have a squeaky chair, and my daughter has a squeaky door in her bed. So there's lots of things on the honey-do list for the WD-40. Oh yeah, I don't really do much tip to tip blending. I wasn't kidding when I said I'm a terrible colorist, and I'm also a very lazy colorist. So, but I do, and this isn't just making up excuses for my lack of talent. I do much prefer things that are a little bit more cartoony than realistic looking anyway. Probably why I'm such a big fan of like Sunny Studios and Lawn Fawn, a huge Lawn Fawn fan, and Avery L versus like the Petty Blacks and those kinds of things, which are very realistic looking. I like things that are a little bit more cartoony. So I don't really do any of that tip to tip blending. I'm terrible. Someone gave me some cards not too long ago, Sandy, from our Paper Crafters group. And if you're not in the group yet, let me know, and then I will make sure to leave a link on this for exchange. And she is an amazing colorist, and I was like, I was almost embarrassed what I sent her. And they say that you're not supposed to do little circles with your Spectrum Noir, but I do anyway, because that's what I do. Look at the screen here. It actually looks a lot better in the screen than it does in real life. So whatever. You'll find that I don't care. I enjoy coloring and I enjoy making cards for people, and I like fun, whimsical things. I really don't care what other people think at this point. Well, I'd love to exchange cards. If you're not interested in joining the Paper Crafters Plus exchange group, which is perfectly fine. Not everybody has the time to exchange different types of paper crafts and so on and so forth. Definitely contact me with your address and we can exchange cards. That would be really cool. I have a bunch of pen pals. I love my pen pals, and I love making cards and writing letters and goofy little things like that. I love doing that. And my my mailing address is in the description box of most of my videos. I don't know what's going to happen with this one once I turn the camera off. To be perfectly honest, I have no idea. I just decided that, like, hey, I'll just try going live and seeing if that works. I actually wasn't even expecting to be live. I didn't even think that this was going to be working. So I don't know if, like, as soon as I'm done filming, if it goes, if the footage of this goes onto my YouTube channel. I'm not really sure how that's going to work, so I'll figure it out once it's done. I know I've watched plenty of other people go live, and then it seems like within a few minutes of them ending their stream, the video was already available to rewatch on their YouTube channel. And if that's what happens, as long as there's nothing extra that I had to do for that option, because if it wasn't something that I knew to do, so I certainly didn't click anything to do that. Anyway, then I'll try to put my mailing address in the description of that as well. I'm not sure if I explained that right. Basically, I talk a lot. And I can't help it. I've had several different comments on my videos, probably the past 2 months. Just seems like the trolls are just out in full force. People just... Or my favorite one in particular that I left up just because it was so nasty, that I'm painfully boring. And you've got to wonder at that point, then why are you watching? Go find something else to do, dear Lord. Watching my channel is certainly not required viewing. Someone took time out of their day to be purposefully mean instead of just moving along. And I actually felt bad because my daughter saw that one. But I explained it to her. Some people are just mean. She's fine with it now. I really don't want my husband to see it because he'll watch the videos sometimes. I don't want my husband to see it because it'll hurt him. No, you're fine. I'm perhaps a little bit more restrained, actually, if I have somebody to read and to talk to. I do talk quite a bit in person, and I'm a nervous talker, especially if it's somebody that I don't know very well, so I will just continue to ramble and ramble and ramble, and that's why if you watch some of my videos, it seems like it takes me 20 minutes to just close the video. It's because I'm nervous, basically, and I don't have a lot of great social skills, so I will just continue to and stammer and stumble, and then I'll remember something else that I meant to say, and so this corner of YouTube is me just trying to reach out to people and overcome some of my just innate awkwardness. As we all are. We all have things about us that are weird. Let's see, keep an eye on the time. Yeah, I do talk a lot. And I'm also an insomniac, so I will be up really early in the morning. Sometimes I get up around, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up for the day. I can't fall asleep at that point, and I am such a jerk. I will wake my husband up to keep me company. Well, not so much anymore. There's been a couple since we moved into this place. Now that this place is a lot bigger, and I don't really, if I leave the room, I'm not afraid that I'm going to wake him up. So I've been just getting up and leaving the room and then coming out here to craft or whatever. Which one am I looking for? This one. I have a terrible time with other moms. I don't fit in very well with people in general, much less other moms in this area. This is a very affluent town, very Christian affluent town. So we're kind of like the opposite socially of a lot of people here. So we don't have church connections with families, and I don't work outside of the home, so I don't have that kind of connection of running into people around town. And it's not that I'm not friendly with people. I just don't really have a lot of friends, especially in this area. So whenever I'm placed in a situation where I have to talk to people, I'm always the one that will just keep stammering on, and then I keep talking about inappropriate things, and if I don't watch myself, I'll accidentally swear or whatever. And and people, I always feel that people are looking at me like, we need to get away from this crazy person right now. I didn't get any browns to do this basket, which was not very smart of me, so I don't know what I want to do. I think I want a nice dark basket. So how about EB5 and EB3? Oh, thank you. I'm trying really hard to not be a horrible judgmenty person. I try not to be so much. I feel that on some level that we all kind of do it. I'm like the same as everyone else. We all watch the videos on Facebook or whatever when the mom lets the kid fall asleep in the car or something. It's like, that would never happen. And I'm trying really hard not to do that anymore. Really trying hard. It still slips out, I think, every once in a while. Because you know what? that sort of thing could happen to anyone. I was listening to a podcast not too long ago, and they were talking about shaken baby syndrome, which is one of the most horrible, awful things that you can think of, and just talking about how they're trying to prevent that by reaching out to more people, to more moms, and offering them more support, because postpartum depression is a real thing, and you don't even recognize yourself, and it's just this awful thing. And I totally get it, because I had postpartum depression as well, and for me it lasted several years after my daughter was born. And I remember one incident when Leah was just maybe a week old, or 2 weeks old, so maybe a week out of the hospital, and she just would not stop crying. And my husband worked overnights and during the day. He had 2 jobs basically, so he was gone almost constantly. He was sleeping in his car in between shifts, and she just would not stop screaming and crying. And she wasn't hungry, she wasn't wet, she just would not shut up. And my brain was just so gone. And I remember trying to walk her back and forth, and it was probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had her in my arms, and the window was open next to me. And I remember thinking in my head that if I just threw the baby out of the window, all of the crying would stop. And this is probably the worst part of anything that I ever could have thought. And then I don't know what, I caught myself, and I put the baby down, and I walked out of the room, but my brain actually went there. So for me to I didn't do anything, but for me to actually to judge someone else because of something else that they have going on for them emotionally or whatever, I'm really trying to scale back my judgmentaliness, because we all have it in us if the circumstances are just right or wrong. We all have it in us to have something awful like that happen. So it worked out great in my case. I put the baby down, I walked out of the room, and sure enough, of course, I was a new mom and didn't know any better. She went to sleep probably a good half an hour after I left her to go scream. And she screamed out, went to sleep. So if I had just, and then that's the point I kind of learned that, you know, with my daughter, it was me fussing that was probably stressing her out even more. So that, you know, kind of opens up a whole much more pleasant side of motherhood. But I actually did reach that very deep, dark moment, and now I try to remember whenever I read something just awful that everyone is human. Much more pleasant things. I don't know what to do next. I think maybe the reds. Maybe we'll do some of the apples. I'm not sure. I'm really feeling the color palette though. Or we could do the sunflowers. We'll do part of the sunflowers. Let's use the same browns that we used in the basket because I really like that brown combination. I love brown. Our new living room couches are brown. Nope, not this one. I was just going to tell you to remind me to shop for more feet for the craft mat. Like something that I would tell my husband. I just make myself a note real quick. I try not to swear so much, especially around kids. Not so much around my kid. My kid's pretty immune to it at this point. But you're definitely not the popular mommy on the playground if you let the S word out or something. Everybody gasps. I think that I'm well suited to being alone a lot of the time. Oh, well, I'll be sure to get pictures up. If I don't show them on the channel, I'll show them on Instagram. Have a great day, Teresa. Thanks for visiting with me. I'm going to get going myself in about 10 minutes or so. I have an appointment this afternoon. We are within walking distance to a few of my daughter's friends' houses and or parents' workplaces. So we're looking forward to having a couple of play dates this week. She has a friend that's going to get off the bus with her tomorrow. And they're going to walk here, and then I'll walk them to his mom's work when we're all done. It's pretty cool. We're not used to being within walking distance of anything. We weren't even in walking distance of the bus stop before. Alright, let's find some yellows that we want to use. I think maybe I'm going to go gold yellow instead. Let's go GY1 and GY4. Gotta find them first. Let's color it and see how that looks. My husband just started a new job yesterday, And we're very excited for him, and it has the potential for a lot of growth and potentially more money down the road and less work hours and all of these, you know, fabulous things. Or we could just crash and burn and they could fire him tomorrow and, you know, whatever. But he doesn't have a work schedule yet. He went in yesterday and they were supposed to give him his schedule, and they said, oh, I haven't had time to do it. Why don't you come in at the same time tomorrow, meaning today. I'm hoping that he comes home today with some kind of a schedule. We're pretty open, and it doesn't really matter to us what his schedule is, as long as he has a schedule, so that we can try to make plans around it. I think that's the really frustrating part. And I bring this up because I'm sitting here, and as I'm coloring, I'm thinking I'm not going to have time to come anywhere close to finishing these cards before I have to go for the afternoon. So maybe I would just come back and work on them again tomorrow, which would be fine with me. But I don't know if my husband's going to be here or not. I don't really want to record when he's here. I'm a little self-conscious when there's other people here. Except for my daughter. I'm pretty used to my daughter being here, but just a little self-conscious. He's a really supportive and kind person, but he doesn't always understand things. I guess is the way that I want to say it. Like, I'm sure that he would grasp the fact that this is live, but he might make comments or whatever that I wouldn't want. We wouldn't be able to edit out that I wouldn't want on a live stream. Is it just, oh no, there's two more over here. I'm thinking I will probably finish these sunflowers and then head out, or head off. Take a couple extra minutes. I might try to, oh, I only have like 5 minutes anyway. I do not have a lot of time. Look at how cute those are. They're so cute. I love sunflowers. My grandmother loved sunflowers. She used to grow big, huge ones in her garden. I like this color combination too. I'm using gold yellow 4 and gold yellow 1. I think my GY1 is getting a little dry here. I might have to try to find a re-inker for that. Oh my god, speaking of re-inkers, my husband found more photo paper in our stash, so we will probably be doing some more Spectrum Noir alcohol ink backgrounds. It's not quite the same as working with, I'm assuming anyway, I haven't tried it, Yupo paper and real alcohol inks, but it's still fun, and I made some cool backgrounds. I have a video showing when I did it, but I have a whole bunch more photo paper now to play with. Alright, so I'm probably going to just end this here. I think this is probably a good stopping point for me, and it'll give me a couple extra minutes to do my stuff before I need to head out pretty soon. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope that you had fun. I had a blast. This has been a lot of fun. I'm probably going to, when I come back this afternoon, I'll probably color a little bit more, and then maybe tomorrow or the next day I'll come back and we'll actually turn them into cards in a live video. But anyway, thanks very much. I need to figure out how to turn this off, so I'm taking my camera off the mount right now and moving it around, and I don't know how to stop it. Thank you very much, and take care, and I will see you soon. Bye!